Welcome to the Market Mystics podcast, where we discuss what's happening in the cryptosphere and trading on Earth as it is in heaven. Buckle up and huddle on while we dive in and get weird. Here are your hosts, Joshua and Kim.
Good afternoon, all of you cryptonauts. How's it going out there today, Kim?
It's going well. It's hot, like crazy hot. But I have good news. I moved into a different office. You can tell There's some different things behind me and some things that still need to be painted, but whatever, we're here. Right?
We're here and it's working well. And now you have more space and that's great.
True. It's a good thing.
All right. Well, before we get into today's topic, let's run through some quick market updates. So we've got Bitcoin down 1.6% in 24 hours, still up 4.2% in 7 days, sitting at 24,162. Ethereum is down 4% in 24 hours, up 12.3% in 7 days, trading at 1,908. Our top mover is the number 55 coin. It is Chiliz. The ticker is CHZ. It is up 11.7% in 24 hours and 31.8% in 7 days, currently trading at 19.9 cents, basically 20 cents. It was like 19.9999. Chili's, besides being our favorite Chef Emil's favorite restaurant in America, is the world's first cryptocurrency exchange for sports, allowing crypto enthusiasts and traders to speculate and trade fan tokens. I've not looked too much into what exactly that means, but that is what they do. Somehow based around sports. Kind of sounds possibly like sports betting or like trading cards or things like that. I'm not exactly sure, but yeah, pretty neat.
That's interesting. This is a fun fact. It's a stupid fun fact. I think it was a couple years ago, when I first started noticing Chili's on the charts and stuff, the ticker symbol is CHZ, and all I could think of was Cheese Whiz. That was it. And so I was surprised to find that it was actually Chili's.
Yeah. I definitely thought it was also cheese. All right. Well, today we wanted to talk about the concept that when you own something physical, that extends into the spirit. So whether or not you own a land or house or investments or whatever that is, there's spiritual components to everything physical. At least that's my belief that's how it works. I think everything on earth is kind of a shadow of what exists in heaven in the spirit. And so, that opens up a lot of conversations. Like, if that is the case, then you sort of can sit here and you can say, okay, well, which one is more real? Which one am I more focused on? Where is my source of supply? We've talked about source of supply a lot, but it's an important thing because it is the same. It's like the same action, but from a different place. So there's absolutely nothing wrong with owning land and houses and investments if that's if your source remains Father. Those things are amazing tools. They're amazing things to be able to utilize as long as they don't become your source of supply. And that can happen whether or not you have $1 billion and 20 homes or you have $1 and you're renting a property. Like, either one, you can have that the land be your source of supply, or you can have Father be your source of supply in either situation.
Yeah. This topic was kind of proposed a little bit, has been talked about a lot by a friend of ours. Her name is Janine. And she's someone who is a really good example of this. Everything that she owns, everything that she holds, she realizes is Father. and sources her authority, her governance, all of that over those things from him. And
Yeah.
you would be amazed to see the difference in how things work for her, because that's how she sources, as opposed to maybe just another, like a neighbor down the street or something. I don't know her neighbors, but somebody down the street who may have similar holdings, but they just don't work the same, you know? And so there really is this concept. So we're talking about the concept, but there really is some power and some significance in maintaining Father as the supply, because also you get away from like greed. You know, when you have $10 in your pocket and you hold it because it's yours and it's mine, I'm going to hold it. I don't want anyone else to have it because it's mine. That is like this mindset of kind of greed. But when you hold it and you realize that it's from the Lord and it's really his, and you're just supposed to use it as a tool however he says,
Yeah.
then it like opens up this flow to be able to have, there's a power in it. I will say this. It's not a power to be misused, but there is authority in it. There's grace in it. There's abundance in it. When you allow the Father to be like the ultimate authority of all the things that you hold, it multiplies value.
Mm.
That's what I would say. And this
Yeah.
is what I've found with a lot of this stuff. And so when you start sourcing from him, then things will fall in place a little bit more. You know, I own a house and I have governed that place for a long time. I mean, I've owned it for nine years now. And there's something significant about being the owner here, because it gives me authority to govern over the land and what is on it and what isn't on it. And so there are people who will step onto that land and go, you know what? This is really interesting. Something feels different here.
Mm.
And it's not because I'm standing there, it's because I'm sourcing from heaven. I also own it there. And so I have authority there that is given from the Father. And I'm partnered with his will. You know how I really do try to align myself with his will. And when you do that, and in all of the things that you own in the earth, again, it opens up this flow. It's like a conduit. So there are concepts in heaven that can flow into earth, and there's ownership in earth that can flow into heaven, and it's like open flow, like not going one way, not stopped up somewhere, but yeah, it just flows freely.
Yeah. We've also talked before that, you know, um, a lack mindset can
Mhm.
exist no matter what amount of money you have. Having lack over $10 or having lack over $1 million, it's the same. It'll present itself differently, but it's the same root mindset. And that's really what we're getting after is the identity issues, the source of supply issues, because we want people to thrive and to live in excellence and to be financially free, but we want that to look it's going to look different for each person, and we want that to be sourced from Father. And there's a I think about this with like the Garden of Eden, and when Adam and Eve were in Eden, the land was fruitful and it provided them nutrition and beauty and pleasure and all these things. And then but in the Garden of Eden, Father was their source of supply. The land was just this thing that they got to enjoy and partake in and govern and steward this. And then after they left the Garden of Eden, the land became their source. They started looking to
Mhm.
the land for what can the land provide. And there is mass amounts of riches in the land. I mean, most of the things that are really valued come from the land. But I think it's a difference in source of supply because we look to the land for its gold and precious metals and its oil and its trees and its food and um, instead of looking to Father for our source of supply and having those things be added into our lives. It's just
Mhm.
kind of a different mindset. There's I'm not going to quote this exactly right, but there's a part in the Bible where it talks about seek ye first the kingdom of God and all these things will be added unto you. I had heard that taught many, many, many times in churches, and it's like, oh yeah, like focus on the kingdom of God and God will take care of you. And um, but I had never heard anyone until recently teach what comes after that. The things that says, I think it may be before this, but it's listing things like it's talking about unbelievers, and it says the, they are seeking wealth and property and houses and cars and airplanes and all these things that weren't in the Bible, but like, they're seeking wealth, they're seeking comfort, they're seeking these things. And then the next verse is, but how much more so does your Father in heaven know what you need? Seek ye first the kingdom of God, and all these things will be added to you. It's referring to the things that the unbelievers were seeking, but it's from a different source of supply. And so, sometimes we look at um, okay, churchianity sometimes looks at like ultra wealthy people and they're like, that's it's almost a little bit of a jaded mindset because that's like, oh, well, maybe there's all these people around them that are starving or need these things and they have so much money and they're on vacation and they're doing things. And I'm not saying every single person in that category is seeking the kingdom first, but it's possible that they are. And God is blessing them with these things in their life that are bringing pleasure and bringing Eden into them.
Hmm, that's good. I once heard, this is secondhand information, but it really struck me. Sorry, excuse me. My sister was in, well, I guess she still is. I guess I'm kind of still in it too. Like this multi-level marketing business. Um, yep, yep, same. I just had my shaker bottle from there. Um, I never really got into it except for I just use a product. Um, so I never really sold it. So I don't know that I can say that I'm in the business. But one of her leaders who is a believer and they are multimillionaires, they talked one time about always looking for abundance and finding it, and that they take any kind of increase as a blessing from God and as abundance. So they talked about even like getting out of their car in a parking lot and finding a penny on the ground,
Mm,
picking it up, not like find a penny, pick it up all day long, you'll have good luck, not that kind of thing.
right.
Pick it up and recognize it as increase. This is abundance. This is, I started this day with $1 million and now I have
Mm,
$1,000,001. So
right.
instead of looking at it as a piddly little thing, looking for the abundance in things. You know what I mean? And I think when you do that, when you can shift your mindset that way, it is so much easier to be grateful and to partner with the Father in this stuff and look to him and go, thank you. I see this as a blessing. It doesn't matter if it's just one little piece of copper, it's a penny, it doesn't matter. This is increase and this is abundance. And I see you and I appreciate it. You know what I mean? Like, I think there's a significance in finding the abundance, even in the small, because then once you're given things that are bigger, you'll also see it there, but you're already in the practice of like taking it back to the Father and seeing that partnership. Like, I see what you're doing with me. Like, yes, let's move together on this. Yes, let's have increase. Yes, let's have abundance. On the other hand, I just had a conversation this morning about the crypto markets and where they are. it was just all kinds of speculation about, oh, I saw this tweet and it was saying this. I'm not even going to repeat it because I don't want to give it like advice. It's not my advice. It was just a tweet that I saw and it started a conversation. But it was about like, get out of this certain coin. You've been warned, right? And by an influencer. And so we were kind of talking about that. And then we were talking about some of the Blackwater stuff that we talked about last week. Or is it Blackwater?
BlackRock.
BlackRock. Blackwater is a security company. Sorry. BlackRock that we were talking about last week. But we were talking about the markets being down. And someone asked me, oh, what do you now hold in that coin that we were now warned about getting out of? And I said, I don't know. It's not anywhere near what it was. And he was like, I can't believe that you're just like taking those losses. And I was like, I don't see them as losses because, and this is not a popular standpoint, but this is how I look at it. If I haven't cashed it out, I don't actually see a loss. It's kind of like if I have a coin that has gone 100x, but I just let it sit there, the gains aren't really realized either. A number has moved on a screen, but it hasn't been quantified in my life, I suppose.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But I feel the same about some of the ups and downs with the crypto market. Because I'm holding, and I know not everyone does this, people trade all differently. It all depends on how the Lord leads you. But for me, with him, he has never told me, okay, you're way down, get way out. You know, he's taught me lessons through a lack mindset and knowing that these losses aren't necessarily realized. And when they are, he's still in it. And to still find the abundance in it and to still find the increase, even when it looks like a decrease. It's just so much of the stuff that we talk about is a mindset. It's really kind of getting your soul and your body in line with what your spirit can realize a little easier. But anyway, yeah, that's what we were talking about this morning, but it was such a lack thing. And it was interesting. A lot of times people will want me to look from that perspective of lack, and it's gotten really hard to do it. And I'm like, well, I don't see that though. That's not how I see it. I still see abundance. I am called to abundance. The Father leads me into abundance, and he is constantly increasing, even if it's just in relationship. Like, that's still a big gain.
Yeah. Yeah. I think the mindset of abundance chases you is one of the best things you could possibly just put into practice. Like, I mean, just sit here and say, okay, Father is my source of supply. He is pursuing me. He's pursuing my best interests. That was weird. Interests. And abundance is chasing me. Like, it's just a mindset of pursuit. Like, what's pursuing you? Is lack pursuing you, or is abundance pursuing you?
I love that. I think I'm putting out a challenge, I guess, to anybody who wants to listen. This week, shift your mindset to abundance chasing you.
Yeah.
And see how things change, even just from that perspective.
Love it.
Same.
All right. Well, I don't know if I can top that. So maybe we should just wrap it up there.
Sounds good. Thank you all for joining. We will see you on Thursday. Have a great week.
See you guys.
Thank you for listening. Join us every Monday and Thursday as we discuss trading on earth as it is in heaven. If you want to connect further, follow us on social media at market.mystics for Instagram and TikTok, and search for Market Mystics on YouTube and Facebook. If you still need more, follow the link on Facebook to book a coaching appointment. Until next time, see ya.